Hey guys, Stephanie with AmericanMuscle.com here with the Maxima Motorsports full-length subframe connectors for all 79 to 2004 Mustangs. The Maxima Motorsports full-length subframe connectors are a great option for those owners out there that are looking for a high-quality option to stiffen up the chassis of the unibody Mustang as much as possible. These are full-length subframe connectors and they're designed to be the best on the market. They're longer, thicker, and they have more surface area to weld. But if you're looking to get the most out of a set of subframe connectors, then these ones from Maxima Motorsports are going to be your best bet. I'm going to go ahead and say that subframe connectors are an essential modification for unibody Mustangs, no matter which brand you end up choosing. This is because unibody Mustangs don't have a full frame that runs the full length of the car. You basically have two frame sections that are connected by floor pans, so unibody Mustangs rely on subframes and floor pans to provide rigidity and strength. This leaves them very weak and subject to twist, even under the power of a completely stock motor. A stock motor can twist and distort the floor pans with ease, and over time this means deformed subframes, which is not a good thing. And once you start adding power to these cars, which I might as well say is inevitable, then this becomes a bigger issue. And this is where the subframe connectors are going to come into play. Subframe connectors like the Maxima Motorsports one here link the front subframe with the rear subframe and attach the floor pans. This adds some much needed structural integrity down the length of the car. There are different length subframe connectors and different types as well, and the differences are going to come in the amount of support that the connectors can provide you. These subframe connectors are what Maxima Motorsports calls the XL series. So not only are these full-length connectors that will offer more structural support and rigidity than standard subframe connectors, but these are even stronger with more material. They are both longer and thicker and have more welding surface area than other subframe connectors in the market. These are going to run all the way from the firewall to the rear control arms and the rectangular bare metal tubing. This much length allows for the most welding points down the length of the car, and the more the better in a case like this. So these are weld-in subframe connectors, which can be more difficult or costly to install, but honestly, weld-in are the direction that you want to go in if you're serious. Weld-in connectors are stronger and provide more rigidity. Weld-in connectors are thicker and you need that material for the welds, and the performance can't be beat by any bolt-in subframe connector. Subframe connectors should be one of the first suspension mods that are considered when it comes to the 79 to 04 Mustang due to how much they'll help the chassis and performance. Making the chassis more solid and reducing flex will allow the chassis to handle power and torque better, which will only make for a more fun driving experience. I would definitely describe these connectors from Maxima Motorsports as one of the best options that you can go with. The extra length, extra material, thickness, and weld-in install allow for a handful of benefits. Benefits like improved handling, launching, ride quality and comfort, and floor pan damage is prevented since you won't be stressing the floor pan any longer. Chassis flex negatively impacts all of these areas. You can't expect good handling, launches, or ride quality if the chassis is flexing under power. The subframe connectors will keep the frame straight, so the correct components can then function as they should, instead of the frame and floor pans doing things like absorbing shock. As far as price, these subframe connectors are one of the better options that you can pick up, so they're going to be on the more expensive side when we compare them to the other offerings that are out there. They aren't going to break the bank or anything. They cost $160, which is right in line with Steeda's offering, but there are some less expensive options on the site if these are a little bit more than you'd like to spend. So I wouldn't say that the install is difficult, but it does require welding, so you're looking at having a shop install these unless you have the equipment and can weld yourself. The install should only take a few hours, and due to the welding, I'm going to call this a 3 out of 3 wrenches on the scale. I would test fit these connectors before you just weld them right in though, and just a heads up for the 96 to 98 Cobras out there, you will need to modify the trans crossmember mounting flanges, but these will work without an issue on all other models. The connectors are side specific, so just be sure you've got the correct side before you fully line up and mark where the connector will sit. You're going to want to mark all areas that the subframe touches the connector, since this is where you'll be welding, and you will need to take those areas down to bare metal for the welds. These will be bolted into the floor pan by the 2 rear seat bolts, and these bolts will help you hold the connector up into place for the welding. After the welding is complete, you're going to want to coat the subframe connectors and the frame rails to prevent any rusting. Wrapping things up here, the Maxima Motorsports full-length subframe connectors are an excellent upgrade for unibody Mustangs that will stiffen up the weak and flexible frame by adding structural integrity. They're a full-length connector with a boxed metal design that gives extra length, thickness, and material. These offer numerous benefits for the 79 to 2004 Mustangs, and you can check them out more online right here at AmericanMuscle.com.